Welcome to order, please. Welcome to this meeting of the Cabinet. I will just go straight into item 1, which is the usual item, Members' Code of Conduct, Declarations of Interest. Do any of the Cabinet members have any interest? Councillor Regan?
Yes, I've taken legal advice from the solicitor, and basically I'll have to declare personal interest on item 8.
Okay. Chris? You're the Chris?
Thank you. Personal interest in item 10.
Okay, we'll record those interests. Anybody else? No? Okay, thank you very much. That takes us to item 2, minutes of the last meeting. Can Cabinet agree to sign those minutes? Thank you. Okay, I'm just going to suggest a very small change in the order of business. I'm going to suggest that we take item 17, which is progressing neighbourhood working, including strategic reviews of street scene and community safety first. So we'll kick off with that item. And I'm going to ask George Davis, the Development Portfolio Manager, to introduce this. Please, George.
First time going to the gym, thank you. Report. Can I just say that this report sets out the first steps of realigning services into the neighbourhood working model. Strategic service reviews have been undertaken of street scene and community safety, which are two key interlinked place-based services that have a far-reaching impact on the quality of life of our local residents. The effectiveness of these services is therefore imperative for our communities. These strategic service reviews form the foundation upon which progression to full neighbourhood working can be built, and the first step in the redesign of services across the public sector, providing localised responses to the needs of local people. This report recommends the operational development of staff to constituency level to provide services that are more responsive to the needs of local residents. In short, providing a better, faster response to local street scene and community safety antisocial behaviour issues. The report also proposes a series of structural changes related to community safety that will reduce duplication, improve the sharing of information and intelligence, better target resources, create greater synergies and consistency of approach, and albeit the main motivating factor, reduce costs and increase efficiencies. Phase 2 of this approach will see these works areas considered across the broader public sector and with partners to look at further ways of joining up activity, further reducing duplication and providing the best service we can to local residents around these key service areas, which have a considerable impact not only on quality of life, but also tackling inequalities and improving the local economy.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, George. I'm just going to suggest a slight amendment to the recommendations, and Shirley's got a few copies. I'm afraid we haven't got copies for everybody, but I'll just briefly explain why we're doing this. I mean, I think the principle of locating what we call our place-based staff, people who are focused on a particular geographical area. I think the principle of having them based in neighbourhood offices is absolutely right. That's clearly the direction of travel that I think we're moving in terms of the new neighbourhood working model and the constituency committees. So I think it's important to emphasise that principle again. However, what I would propose is that rather than agreeing all of these proposals tonight, I would like around the strategic reviews of street and community safety, I'd like a further discussion to take place between the relevant portfolio holders to agree the details. So we agree the direction of travel, that's absolutely right. But I think the detail, needs to be we need a further discussion, and I'm going to suggest we delegate that to the relevant portfolio holders. And I think from memory this covers about 4 or 5 portfolios. It's quite includes quite a number of our cabinet members. So I think that would benefit from that further kind of round of reflection. And then thirdly, that the cabinet asks for a further report to come back to us on other place-based services which could be devolved in a similar way to the constituency footprints. So in other words, let's agree these two, but I'm very happy to look at other services, but let's have a further report to Cabinet to understand what else we can devolve. And then finally, the recommendation as is printed, that we emphasise that the neighbourhood working model is central to our approach to transforming public services, and our current view of assets, and particularly to pick up on the asset-based community development model, which I think is something we should definitely explore in more detail, which will I'm sure, increase neighbourhood resilience. So just a few tweaks to those recommendations, but I formally move them in place of the printed recommendations in the report. Can I see a second? Okay. Is that agreed, Cabinet?
Agreed.
Okay, thank you very much. So that's item 17 dealt with, and I'll go back now to our agenda as is. We'll deal with the finance items next. Item 3 is the financial monitoring report for month 6. I just want to say a few words on this. I think again it's generally a very positive picture. We continue to, I think, be managing the finances well. We were projecting an underspend of 592,000, and the suggestion in the report is that we earmark that against our future restructuring costs, which we know we will have to earmark funding for, and that makes sense. So I've got a problem with that, and we're also being asked to agree the transfer of 100,000 from our reserves to fund the preparations for the Open Golf at Hoylake next year. And I think that's such an important event for us that, again, I'm happy with that. I just wanted to comment on one other issue, because there's been some publicity about it, and that's around the car parking income. Now, obviously conscious that this is attracting quite a lot of interest. I just wanted to make a couple of points. I think, just to put the record straight, the facts are that actual income has increased from last year, from 1.2 million to 1.4 million. So I think some press reports I've read suggest that the income has actually gone down. It's not gone down, it's gone up by 200,000. But it's not gone up by as much as was projected. But definitely income is up. I think the report makes clear there are a number of factors impacting on this on these parking charges. Some to do with the concession, some to do with private off-street car parks now, some to do with people choosing to use other forms of transport. What I would like the officers to look at, I've spoken to Mark Smith about this. I feel that we've got some evidence of the impact that you get when you change parking charges, but I think it could be a lot more robust. And I've just asked the officers to look at maybe good practice elsewhere, and if there's other local authorities that have got a useful kind of evidence base that we can look at to better understand the impact of any change actually in parking charges, how that impacts on the behaviour of local residents. I think that would be really helpful for us going forward, making more informed decisions about the budget. So that would be useful. And the other point to make, because I have seen some comments from various opposition members, notably Councillor Kelly, who kind of criticising us for the shortfall. The only reason why I have to look at charges is because of the huge cuts in our budget by this government. And I frankly think it's a bit rich for Councillor Kelly to lecture me on us making these kind of changes when it's his government who are actually forcing us to look at these things. And also, you know, not a week goes by now without Councillor Kelly criticising one of our budget savings. I'm not hearing any alternatives from him about anything. So by all means criticise us, but if you haven't got any alternatives, then I think really the criticisms are pretty pious really. So it's just a plea for opposition members to be more responsible in the way they debate us on the budget. So I could just make that point. Okay, so those are the comments I wanted to make, but I'm going to suggest that we agree those recommendations. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, thanks very much. Okay, that takes us to item 4, which is the Treasury Management Performance Monitoring Report for 2013-14. Again, if I could just make 2 very brief comments about this. I think, first of all, I was really pleased to see in paragraph 311, the approach we've taken to investing with other local authorities being commended by the Public Finance magazine as an example of good practice of good management of a local authority's funding. Because we have again come in for some criticism about the way we do this, but actually we're being held up as an innovative council in the way that we invest our funds and the considerable returns that we are realising on those investments. So that was pleased to see an external expert validating that approach to investment. And also I was really pleased to see that on 3.19 that we've almost recovered the whole of the Icelandic investment that we made to the tune of 1.98 million. So, you know, congratulations to all the officers who've been working on that. And I think 321 says that we are confident we'll be able to reclaim the whole of that amount of 2 million. So a really good effort on that, because I know a number of authorities have lost substantial amounts of money, but we've done good work in terms of recovering that. So thanks to all the people concerned with that work. So I think with those comments, I'm going to ask Cabinet to agree the recommendations in paragraph 2 on that report. Is that agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Okay, so on to governance and improvement. Item 5, key messages from the improvement board. Anne?
Thank you, Chair. Thanks. What the document before Cabinet tonight, the improvement board key messages, is actually outdated in that it's from the September meeting. But I think it is worth giving an update to Cabinet on the work of the improvement board that's now doing to review the progress that's been made and the impact of having had the improvement board in place on the adverse situation we were in when it was established 21 months ago. The board commissioned the chair of the improvement board to produce a review that would allow it to examine and reflect on the difference that's been made since the board was established, and to consider the role that the improvement board should play with us going forward, and any future support that it may want to give to Wirral. So a first draft of that report was shared with the improvement board at its October meeting, and after incorporating comments and feedback from the board, the draft report was issued yesterday, the 6th of November, for a short consultation period now. And that will be a consultation period with public service partners and with those people who were involved in those adverse reports that were held up before us. And the consultation will close on the 15th of November, and on the 15th of November there will be a public meeting. Certainly the chair of the board will be present at that meeting, and possibly other members as well, and there will be an opportunity to take any feedback then. Then a final report is then going to be reproduced for the improvement board on the 29th of November, and we will then be able to consider how we move forward. But just a few highlights, if I may have a moment, Chair, just about how much we have transformed over the past 12 months, particularly in terms of priorities that were set for us. You know, we've taken action to revise and strengthen our constitution. We've looked at changing the role of members and making clear the responsibilities of both members and officers. And we've engaged widely and opened ourselves up to learning from outside and continue to do so. Now, I know that all members have received a copy of the report. I would recommend that everybody does take an opportunity to read it. We're also involved in trying to move this process forward, and we're involved in all of the transformation work of the council. But it's worth taking a step back just to look at what we have actually achieved and to strengthen our resolve to keep moving forward. Whatever the outcome of the review, I know that we're committed as an administration to continue to improving as an organisation in the way that any high-performing council would do. Now, I would say, Chair, that I will be bringing the final report to Cabinet in December for us then to consider those recommendations from the Improvement Board and to share the report more widely then.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Anne. And just you know, to add to that, I mean, I've read the review report. I would encourage all members to read the report. It's you know, I think it's very informative. But I think for me, you know, Wirral, I think, was the first authority that's really sort of championed this sector-led approach as opposed to kind of other forms of intervention which are a bit more brutal. And I think it's definitely been a positive experience. And you know, I think I've said from day one that change done with you rather than to you is more sustainable, and I definitely kind of think that. Don't think anybody's saying job's done. Still further work to be done. But I think if you read the report, you'll see that you know, external experts are saying that we have moved a huge amount forward in the last 21 months. So I think I'd just like to record my thanks to you, Anne, because you've led the work on this for the tremendous progress you've made. And I look forward to people commenting on the report, and those comments will be collected in time for the Improvement Board to consider that at the end of November. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Okay, can we note those comments? Agree. Thank you very much. Right, so that then takes us now to Children and Family Services. So item 6, Foxfield School Consultation. Tony?
Thanks, Chair. This is the outcome of the statutory notice consultation on the proposed relocation of Foxfield School. Wirral Council was successful in its bid under the Priority School Building Programme to rebuild Foxfield Special School. The cost is estimated to be in the region of £7.5 million, which will be funded by central government. Foxfield is a single school replacement scheme under a national programme and seeks to continue capital investment in better facilities to the borough. In July 2013, following consultation with stakeholders, it was required that statutory notices be published for the relocation of Foxfield School in Morecambe to Woodchurch. This report includes the final stage in the process to relocate the current school more than 2 miles away. The statutory notice period ran from July the 17th to the 25th of August and resulted in just one written response. Concerns raised will be addressed as the project progresses. Planning permission was given on the 31st of October, and that was unanimous. And what will happen now, Chair, is that the work will start as soon as possible. Can I just say that Foxfield School, which was based in Morecambe, was never a school that was built for children with complex learning difficulties. And if people know the school, there was sort of outbuildings which the children had to use. So this is a really, really wonderful opportunity to build a purpose-built school for our most needy children, our most complex children with that. Can I just also praise the work that the officers of the authority did in actually progressing this bid, managing to get £7.5 million for the school. The recommendations, Chair, are that we approve the statutory prescribed alteration to transfer the site of Foxfield School from its current site in Morecambe to Corbridge Road in Woodchurch. And we give permission to the Director of Children's Services to ensure the prescribed procedures are followed in including requesting permission from the Secretary of State. And can I just also add finally that the school, when it is built, will be able to be used by the community as well, which I think will be really wonderful for the residents of Woodshire. That's the recommendation.
Thank you, Tony. Can I add my congratulations and thanks to all the officers who've been involved in this. This will be a fantastic project. I mean, anybody who's seen the the special school in Pensby, which is adjacent now to the new primary school at Stanley, and it's just an absolutely superb campus there now. And I think this will be a similar excellent project, which for the youngsters concerned will give them a really high quality education. So I'm really pleased that 7.5 million is being spent on this kind of state of the art school, and I just think it's something we can really be proud of. So a big add my thanks to everybody concerned. Okay, so can we agree those recommendations?
Agree.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that takes us on to item 7, the outcomes for looked after children. This is a piece of scrutiny work that has been done, and this report is coming to us tonight to consider the recommendations. A really important piece of scrutiny, and I think it just shows the detailed work that's now being done by the task and finish groups, of which this is one, which I think is very exemplary, really. But I don't want to really hog the floor, because I've asked Wendy Clements. Wendy, you chaired this panel, and I think it'd be really good if we hear from you and just introduce the report and say what you'd like to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, actually, 1 year ago today we set up this scrutiny review. So it took us a while. I worked with Councillor Walter Smith and Councillor Pat Williams together. We spoke to a great many young people, and the report reflects a lot of the comments that they made, and I think they're very illuminating at times. When the young people said things like there's a stereotype about looked after children, and there are a few positive messages. Tell a looked after child that they will do bad, and they do bad. When you're in care, you get put down and told you could not achieve. When they said things like that to us, we were concerned to try and make sure we could bring everybody's attention to it, and as Cabinet and senior executives from the team here as well, it's something that affects us all. Because it isn't just about the work of the Children and Young People's Department, it does affect people who deal with housing, it does affect apprenticeships and all those other matters. So the first recommendation is all about aspiration, and we would recommend that every part of the council looks to improve the aspiration for our looked after young people. Because those of us that are biological parents, we care deeply about our children. We put them first. We give them the best opportunity we possibly can. And we want to see that for our looked after children. When we heard from some of the looked after children that perhaps their foster carers didn't give them some of those helps that we would give our own children around things